Workers have gathered at this project to collect rubbish in return for payment in food. Most have arrived recently in Galkayo with their families, but with no proper jobs available, they have been desperate. Already having fled their homes, fearing for their lives and their loved ones, they may sing as one, but their voices have different stories to tell. 60-year-old Hawa Aiden has been a pastoralist all of her life, but drought has now forced her family off the land to scatter around the town, with charity wearing thin.
When the livestock was lost, we came to town and we came in 2 groups. When we arrived, one of my daughters stayed with the extended family. I, myself, and 4 children stayed with another family. One of my sons is homeless in the town. This morning, I went to a house and I was told to leave. I went to another house and I was told I couldn't stay. I have all my belongings outside.
Until 3 months ago, Barocco, her husband, and their 5 children lived in Mogadishu.
We moved to one district of Mogadishu and then the fighting extended to that district. Then we moved to somewhere else and then the fighting extended again. Then I decided to move out of Mogadishu and come here.
When the family arrived in Galkayo, 2 of the children were malnourished. Treated with a fortified food called plumpisat provided by WFP, they're now in good health. However, the family is still struggling. But the food Barocco is getting each month from this work is at least providing the family with the means to survive.
We have been working in this place for the last 2 months. We are given 1.5 bags of sorghum, 1 can of oil, and half a bag of pulses. We have been given something good.
Hawa Aiden added that the family ration of food she receives for working is at least one benefit her family now has.
Les enfants, c'est le futur.
Lack of adequate investment in agriculture by rich and poor countries alike is the main single cause of the problems we face today. Sharp food price spikes discourage planning. If prices are likely to be high at harvest time, farmers will plant more. But if low prices are forecast, they often cut their costs and plant less. Why increase production if the cost of what you put in the ground is more than what you eventually get out? For poor families, when food prices hike, their money buys less, and they might have to skip meals and go to bed hungry. Many will have no choice but to eat cheaper and often less nutritious food. High food prices push already vulnerable people into extreme poverty. So what causes food price volatility? A combination of issues and conditions, including insufficient grain reserves on the global market. Supply is struggling to keep pace with demand, and stocks are at or near historic lows. Fluctuating energy prices with their knock-on effects on transport and food production. Population trends. Almost 80 million new mouths to feed every year, and by 2050, the world population is expected to exceed 9 billion. Rapid economic growth in emerging economies. As people eat more meat and dairy produce, the need for feed grains quickly increases. Speculators, although they may not cause price spikes, they can aggravate them. extreme weather and climate change can decimate crops and destroy food stocks. What can be done to mitigate the impact of high and volatile food prices on poor families? Increase investment in agriculture in a way that is targeted and comprehensive to create grain reserves. Ensure that natural resources are used wisely and not used up, and boost agriculture research and development. In Senegal, Fatou Sey and her neighbours are reforesting the drylands with acacia trees and have learnt to extract and market the gum they produce. Much of FAO's emergency assistance addresses the potential causes of high food prices by ensuring that farmers have better access to quality seeds, fertilizers and tools, as well as technical assistance, training and credit. Mohamed Zada managed to harvest double his usual wheat crop by using improved seeds and better practices, just 1 year after Pakistan's devastating floods. FAO supports efforts to improve rural infrastructure, such as roads, irrigation systems, storage and market facilities. Farmers in Guatemala are learning to make worm compost boxes to recycle their organic waste. This should increase maize production and may give them a surplus to sell. In 2010, FAO assisted governments in programming over $5 billion of investment support by development banks to increase production by smallholders and take advantage of higher food prices. Continued investment is crucial in the fight against hunger. For Hungry Planet, I'm Gillian Hazel.
It's the rainy season in the Rift Valley in Ethiopia. Not that you can tell. There is no humanitarian crisis here like elsewhere in the Horn of Africa, but this area is no stranger to drought.
Our life is not good because there's no rain and no water. The water that exists isn't clean, and when this is exhausted, we are hardly surviving. It's not a life.
Hassan is a pastoralist, one of about 12 million in Ethiopia. They depend mainly on livestock and travel great distances to find water and grazing land. They are the ones most affected by drought.
They have been marginalized for centuries. They are living in arid and semi-arid areas in a harsh climate. They are the ones who are actually highly vulnerable for man-made and natural disasters.
And due to climate change, droughts are now far more frequent. They occur every year or two, rather than every 5 to 10 years, so it's a daily battle for survival.
When there's no rain, there's nothing for livestock to eat. During this time, the livestock die. When this happens, we also suffer. Life is equal to death.
But Hassan now plays a part in preventing such a tragedy. He has recently been trained as a community data collector and is one of over 500 in the country. He checks the water supplies, crops and livestock in his community, noting any warning signs of drought.
I see if the water is clean, whether it is possible for people to drink it. Also, I look at the volume compared to yesterday, if it goes up or down.
Hassan makes weekly reports to the district level, and they analyze the data and feed the information to higher levels of government.
Before, we didn't go to the community to get information unless there was something serious, so the existing situation didn't reach us quickly. Now it is very fast.
This early warning system is supported by the Pastoral Community Development Project, or PCDP. They say it gave them a chance to respond to the current drought in the Horn of Africa by providing water and animal feed, preventing a bigger crisis for Ethiopia. But where Hassan lives, it's a different story.
Now there is no rain. There is also no crop. What we got from last year's harvest is almost finished. This is the situation. But when I report the problem, I don't get any response.
PCDP says the government has limited resources, so it has to prioritize and focus on the worst affected areas.
We cannot claim that the system is perfect in all parts of the pastoral areas. So it needs to be strengthened further, and this is actually the government is doing.
The early warning system is not enough on its own. PCDP combines it with projects that build pastoralists' resilience to drought, such as irrigation schemes, water harvesting, and alternative livelihood opportunities. The UN's International Fund for Agricultural Development, or IFAD, financially supports these projects. And according to its president, these long-term investments are the only way to prevent future tragedies.
We have to invest in agriculture. We have to invest in rural development. We have to invest in infrastructure. Droughts will always occur. They occur worldwide. Australia, Russia, the United States. Do they get food aid?
Life may not be easy for Hassan, but this early warning system provides hope that he will never have to rely on food aid. For Hungry Planet, I'm Joanne Leviton.